challenges which you are facing? Any thought? Trump is definitely one. Yes, yes. Political challenges, pollution, right? With the whole grabs coming in, environment, political, tech. So I'm just kind of segmenting and categorizing it into a couple of them. Any other? So political, environment, tech. Competition. Yes, absolutely. What else? Insecurity from?
From individual level to business owners to political leaders.
All right.
Everyone is getting very, very insecure because mahal aisa ban gaya.
Okay, right. So let's see if we cover up some of these challenges, right? So first challenge is, of course, always we are grappling with how can we sustain beyond the plateau, right? We don't hit the plateau. That's number one, right? Then we look at market disruption and competitive threats, as you spoke about, right? Currently, everywhere the markets are getting disrupted. What do we do with that? Or we also have talent and leadership challenges, right? I see the talent crunch is one of the biggest at this point of time. So that is also one of the challenges. Or tech, digital is becoming a challenge, followed by, if I look at, as you said, regulatory and geopolitical challenges, or managing risk and business resilience, followed by, you want to also see how you're entering new markets, or shifting from operational efficiency to looking at where is my strategy, right? So these are some of the challenges, because today we are a lot in day-to-day operations, and how much time do we look at strategy is something which becomes questionable for a lot of people. I work with a lot of business owners, and this is one of the biggest challenges they face, right? So let's look at all of these. Today we want to talk about how can we go beyond tactics to look at your strategic moves, and that brings us to this topic of today, which is the 3 horizons of growth, where we want to see how it can help companies balance short-term and long-term strategies. This is something which is not my concept. This is a very famous concept from McKinsey and Company, and they have spoken about it, implemented it in multiple companies. And as I take on the 3 horizons in the next 15 to 20 minutes, you will see how multiple organizations have adopted it and have been functioning. And the question which I would want to ask you is, are you, right? But we'll come to that first. I would highly recommend at this point of time, have a pen and a paper with you, because I'm pretty sure that you're going to at least get some ideas to take an action, right? That is what I would recommend do it at this point of time. So let's talk about the first horizon. Horizon 1, the H1, is all about core business optimization. Any businesses, the first strategy has to be, how is my core business getting optimized? Where am I today, right? And when I talk about this, it means that my focus is that how do I maximize on today's efficiency and profitability of the current business, and where are my cash cows within the business, right? That is everybody's core thought process always is, how my core business should be optimized. And the goal in this scenario should be, number one, you look at optimizing operations, defend your current markets, whatever it is, or extend your product life cycles, right? By continuously evolving it, what's new you are doing in your business, all of that is one critical thing to do, right? Number two, your goal should also be, in this scenario, ensure the existing business remains competitive and profitable. Very clear, right? Not only you looking at expanding, but how do I look at operational efficiencies in this scenario? Then, after looking at this strategy usually always is immediate, right? Current to the short term, 0 to 3 years, I would say. That's the usual H1 strategy is. Now, in this scenario, what are typical actions and what you should do? Number one, you need to look at process efficiency. I'm sure this is something which I expect that everybody is already doing, right? Process efficiency, lean operations, automation, cost reduction, etc. Number one. Number two, you are looking at customer retention, not only growing your customers, but customer retention as well, strengthening loyalty and optimizing your sales. Number three, profitability, your pricing strategy, margin improvements. And number four, you're looking at brand strengthening, reinforcing positioning, and differentiation. This is one of the steps which a lot of times people are not able to, right? 3 things, the first 3 people do. The fourth thing, people at times ignore, and are very late when they have grown to a level, and now they say that now my next push is not coming with the brand lacks, right? This is where you need to continuously also start looking at what is my brand positioning. So this is the H1. If I talk about some of the examples of core business optimization, right? Let's talk about Amazon. What is Amazon's first business? Was first business? They were books. Then they moved immediately into retail, music. Music they came in much later, I guess, but retail was the first one, right? So retail, books, it was till today, they work on optimizing their core business, right? So whether it is the speed, the supply chain optimization, warehousing management, automation, robotics, AI-driven personalization, every single thing they are trying to do, fraction of things they change and the cost differential is huge, right? So that is something which they are continuously working on, their core business optimization. Then let's have another example. Reliance is another one big example where their core business was or is petro, right? They continuously work on oil to chemicals. That's been their core business. That's how they started with. Till today, they look at how can I increase my output? Okay, how can I look at my refinery infra, supply chain optimization, and now the GOBP outlets are visible all over the places. What is the efficiency I'm doing there? So within their core business, they are trying to become more efficient. That's their H1. That should be their H1. So the idea of H1 is how do you really defend and extend today's core? What I want you to do, just take 1 minute and write down the areas where you need to be good or better with regards to your core business. Just write down simply 2 or 3 such areas where you think there is still improvement possibility. What does it look like? Any shares?
Like for me, it is sales and marketing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we were dependent on we were dependent on just 1 or 2 people for our entire.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
So this year we expanded the entire marketing team, and so now marketing
is important for you. Perfect. Good. Good enough. All right. What about you, Sumit? Labor efficiency, all right. Okay.
Second is the reduction in the weight of the products because they're getting lighter and stronger now.
Okay.
So using the lighter materials.
All right. Okay. Sure.
That, and then the third would be again our marketing, efficiency marketing.
All right. Okay. Sure. Great. Deepak, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I wanted to say internal team.
That's okay. It's enough.
Internal team kind of starts living in a silo. And they are completely unaware of the external disruptions which are going
All right. Okay. So that awareness.
Awareness, I wouldn't say awareness. I mean, you get into a catch-22 situation where you cannot disrupt the people because you have to defend the core business. And at the same time, the drive starts to peter down. There's the grass, which starts growing under their feet, and they are just all over the place.
Okay. Sure.
Become very lackadaisical.
Fabulous. Great. So these are some of the challenges. You've written down few of the things. Let's go to Horizon 2. This was Horizon 1, where we're talking about defending and extending our core today. All right. Let's talk about Horizon 2. Horizon 2 is about the emerging business models. Right. At any point of time, what do you see as my business models which are shaping up? Now, this horizon is usually mid-term, 2 to 5 years. Right. What do I see 2 to 5 years from now? Now, what area do you need to look at? When I say you need to look at, here you need to look at growing beyond the core business by expanding into adjacent markets, new geographies and product lines, which means your work area still remains the same, but you are looking at expanding into new geographies, product lines, and the goal here is you need to scale up promising initiatives. I'm sure many of these of your current business models have some things which are growing with regards to their current business. How can you look at those promising initiatives that can become future growth engines? That should be your goal. And the second goal in this case should be developing new revenue streams while leveraging existing capabilities. With the same capabilities, what could be your new revenue streams coming out? Okay. Now, typical actions in this horizon are, number 1, new market entry. Number 2, product diversification. And number 3, when you look at strategic partnerships and M&A. Now, this could mean different regions, different areas, different kind of products from the same product segment which you have. What are the adjacent products which you can look at? What are the adjacent markets you can look at? Or how can you actually acquire a particular organization, do a strategic partnership, bring in, get some technology, and make sure that you are able to expand naturally from your current business. That's Horizon 2. Okay? And when I say this, let's look at some of the examples. Same example, what Amazon did. Amazon's next business, they started with different countries. That is what the first thing started. So the geography started. But beyond that, Prime, Alexa, AWS started coming along for them. Right? So this was Amazon's Horizon 2. Now, let's look at Reliance. What was Reliance Horizon 2?
Retail, Geo, phone.
Okay, so they started looking at Reliance Retail, of course, fresh, trends, digital. This is how they started expanding into the other markets, right? Other areas is a natural expansion for that matter. So Horizon 2 is all about build and scale on your current capabilities. Expand ahead. Spread your wings from where you are, right? That's the second side. What I want you to do is spend another 30 seconds, write down what are such 2 or 3 things which are currently related to your own business right now, but where you can either expand into, which could be a product, it could be a next geography you are looking at, or it could be a strategic partnership. A product, a geography, or a strategic partnership. Done? Yep. So now let's look at Horizon 3. If this was Horizon 2, what is Horizon 3? Horizon 3 is nowhere connected to what you are doing today, what business you are in today. Horizon 3 is about disruptive innovation and future growth. Okay? Now, like the way we spoke about this right now, I want to talk about this is your 5 to 10 year strategy, not your current strategy, not your midterm strategy. You need to start looking at what am I going to do 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And in this scenario, what you need to look at is you need to look at longer term bets and constantly keep looking at what are the innovations, disruptive innovations which are happening. If it is happening in my trade, I am anyways in Horizon 2 because that is the expansion scope within your trade. Let's look at what next, what new can come up, which when comes up, I am the first one to work on. Okay? Now in this scenario, your goal should ideally be to create options for the future by experimenting with entirely new ideas, entirely new technology, entirely new business model. Have you started thinking about it, right? And in this scenario, your general actions are, number 1, you need to look at R&D in emerging technologies, which means you, at any point of time today, you start R&Ds, what's happening new, what could be my potential areas which I should look at. Keep a lookout, look at multiple trade shows, conferences, what's happening, keep your eyes and ears open and see what can be done. In this scenario, you need to start with several pilot projects, small things which can actually grow big later. And you can actually look at new industries altogether. You can actually look at a complete radical shift from whatever you're doing right now. You need to start looking at that. Partnerships with innovative players, you never know, right? Now, what was Amazon's disruptive innovation, H3? What was their H3? Amazon's H3, they started investment in AI, robotics, and space exploration, nowhere connected to books or retail. Right? Totally different, which they did not see today. They saw probably 10 years back. And they said, okay, my side project is this. And these have just come out. You never know what other projects they are on a pilot working on for that matter. Right? So that's Amazon. What was Reliance's disruptive innovation? That's when their telecom And now look at the way they are building Jamnagar, and the AI is disrupted. They're planning to do that now. Partnerships, a GOBP on the other side, now partnerships with Meta, Google and all these places, right? A completely disruptive innovation, what they are looking at. Right? So my question to you is, what is your way of looking at H3? What do you want to explore and what do you want to experiment? Have you thought about it yet? If not, this is your moment to start thinking how my H3, the Horizon 3, is going to start taking shape, right? Because you'll have to work on several such thoughts to start arriving onto some thoughts maybe 3 years later, maybe 5 years later. But it also has to start working now. So these 3 models, first, core business optimization, 0 to 2 years, emerging business model, 2 to 5 years, and disruptive innovation, which is 5+ years. Now, key things to note in all these 3 models. All 3 horizons should be pursued parallelly, not sequentially, which means at any point of time, at any month, you need to see, okay, my major time goes on H1. Am I spending enough time on H2? Am I spending some time on H3? That's critical. Number 2, a company must protect the present, nurture the next, experiment for the future, all at the same time, right? You cannot say that I'm operationally very busy, so I'm not able to do so. That's not an excuse we as business owners give and should give to us, right? To ourselves. Okay. Yes. Okay, sure. So what this does is this prevents organizations from focusing on today's profits, which should be the ideal, but you must not neglect your H2 and H3. And unfortunately, that's where people are. And by the way, it's flexible, it becomes flexible over time. Your Horizon 3 ideas mature into Horizon 2 when the time progresses, right? And your successful Horizon 2 projects eventually become your Horizon 1 business, right? All what we're talking about is, do you have the long-term vision to see what's going to be, how can I be ahead of time and start looking at. This is your strategy to be ahead of time. As Steve Jobs said, if you do not cannibalize yourself, someone else will, right? So it's important that you start looking at how am I going to evolve on my business. So with this brings to the end of my hack, but what I want to leave one thought is, what is that action you are going to take after today to see how your all 3 horizons play up? Quick shares.
I just want to add a little bit there.
Yeah.
In fact, as CEOs, what we do internally is that you have to map your calendar, ensuring how much time you're spending in H1, H2, and H3.
Yes, absolutely. That is true.
If bulk of your time is in H1, then you're not doing H2.
Yes, because you need to identify that will you be a disruptor or will you be disrupted. The choice actually remains completely with you.
So we have each plan for each of the H1,
Absolutely.
H2, H3.
Yeah.
For example, now we are doing business in a digitally enabled way. We don't meet client in person. That's the bread and butter as of now, and that's where we are trying to optimize this.
Sure,
year.
absolutely.
And we ran something called as scalability readiness survey, and we identified the bottlenecks a little bit, and we are working towards this as trying to add more efficiency. For your H2, we realized that India will come across with one of the biggest problem in future is providing jobs to the next generation of people. So we have established FinCard Academy, and where we are trying to tie up with college. We have rather tied up with 3 colleges already, where we are training the resource with our curriculum.
Fabulous.
Giving an 3-month internship. The program is 3-month internship, and then subsequently our successful completion onboards them as a ready advisor for us. And that helps me to build a different distribution platform. That's my H2.
Absolutely.
And H3 that we are doing is, we have, since we don't meet client in person, we have been talking over phone or Zoom calls now. We record all the conversation, and we're leveraging AI to create a complete wealth management platform with AI that's targeted towards it.
So I would say your AI now already has gone into your H1 or H2. What you need to look at as altogether disruptive thing which may not be your current business can you look at something else which, when some disruption happen in your business, current business, are you safeguarded? And that safeguarding has to start happening today. Great, but thank you so much for your share. So thank you so much. All I want to leave you with this thought is, are you ready to become a disruptor or you want to be disrupted? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Thank you. Thank you.